The Pistons try to lose to the Nuggets, but they hold on for the win. Joel Embiid gets up in a win against the Milwaukee Bucks, and more in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Let's go.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
Welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now, the number one sports podcast network. On Wednesdays, I'm your co-host, Jake Madison, at Nola Jake on Twitter, and the host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
And I'm John Karalis, at John_Karalis on Twitter, host of the Locked On Celtics podcast.
All right, John, I was not excited going into tonight's slate of games. It didn't look too good, but the top game definitely lived up to the billing with the Pistons outlasting the Nuggets. But honestly, the other games were kind of entertaining as I was watching things around.
You know, I knew when you texted me pre-complaining, I said to myself, Jake's going to eat these words like a tweet.
Well, that was well played. We'll get into that a little bit later. Is there anything you could say that would make you have to eat a tweet? Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by FanDuel. It's last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. And of course, thank you for making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We are here 7 days a week covering every single game played in the association this season. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Join us on YouTube as well. And let's start with what seemed like the game of the night and definitely lived up to being the game of the night. And that's the Detroit Pistons beating the Denver Nuggets 109-107. Let's go over to Locked On Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons escaped with a win in Denver tonight. Host of Locked On Pistons podcast, Coop Keel here. This was not, I don't feel good walking away from this win if I'm the Detroit Pistons. Late in this game, mind you, again, Denver is without Nikola Jokic in this game. Late in this game, the Detroit Pistons have some back-to-back just poor decision-making that almost lost them the game. First of all, following a three-point shooter twice in the final 30 seconds of this game, 40 seconds of this game, when you're up by three, it's just horrible decision-making. Both of them from Javonte Green. They got lucky that Jamal Murray missed, again, a career 89% free throw shooter, missing 2 free throws. They got lucky with that. That was some of these decisions the Pistons made, and then some of the decisions the coaching staff made with who they were closing with. Asar not playing late in this fourth quarter. I feel like the Pistons were lucky to get away with this one, and this was a game without Nikola Jokic. Wasn't a great game. You'll take the win, but not a very good game.
So he mentions they were without Nikola Jokic. They were also without Cam Johnson, Christian Brown in this one too. But the Nuggets going into this one were 9-5 this season without Jokic. They're now 9-6. It's not like they're still a bad team. That said, Detroit completely escaped.
I mean, I feel bad for Jamal Murray.
Rough, man.
It was, and he looked gassed.
He had an incredible game until that, I thought.
Yeah, no, but he looked gassed towards the end. Like some of the shots he was throwing up, he was hitting them because he's amazing. But I think the travel issues were, it caught up to them a little bit. He just didn't have the legs to miss one. The second one he missed was short. I just think he didn't have the legs there at the end, which sucks because when the other team hands you 2 opportunities to hit the 3 free throws to tie the game, it's right there for you. You'd like to see the team kind of take advantage of it. And the Nuggets have been so good in this stretch that there's a lot from the Nuggets side that you take and you say, you know what, this is actually, we'll take it. We'll live with this. It sucks to lose, but Adelman after the game was saying that I'm pissed that we lost, but this team is fun to watch because they just compete and they play hard all the time.
Yeah. So to kind of fill it in a little bit there, you had Jamal Murray get fouled on 3-point attempts twice in the final 30 seconds. The first time he missed the first one of the three, and then the second one he makes the first one and misses the other two. He did look gassed there. They had some turnover issues as well for the Nuggets in this one. He only had 2 of them, which is why I thought he had a pretty good game until just that stretch down the end. But you got to make those shots. It's really kind of as simple as that.
He was 0 of 6 from 3, 10 of 15 from the line, all told.
10 assists, but yeah.
Tennis, yes, but and then you look at Peyton Watson, who has been
incredible for them,
right? Why have the Nuggets been so good even without Jokic? It's because Peyton Watson has leveled up, and he wasn't great, and he's going up against a big kind of big burly tough Pistons team. I think Peyton is the physicality. He just wasn't able to match that level of physicality against the Pistons. The Pistons have a bunch of guys that you just if you get into a bar fight, give me the Pistons front line and we'll I'm good. We'll be fine. And it's hard to kind of go up against those guys. Again, when you're not feeling your absolute best, I think the Nuggets weren't feeling their absolute best. To get worn down, to just get crushed, to have Asar Thompson just, when you're Jamal Murray just on top of you the whole game.
Yeah.
This was tough. And again, I come out impressed by the Nuggets being able to kind of deal with all of that. And I think Koo was right on the money. When you're the Pistons and you've done all of that stuff, you had chances to put this away earlier. It's you're upset with the win and the Nuggets are okay with the loss.
Yeah, I think so. They've done a very good job of weathering the storm without Nikola Jokic, I feel like. And if their biggest weakness is just, you need him to win the title, there's not much you can do about that in the first place, truthfully. So I still think the Nuggets are going to be fine.
Well, look, they're still third.
Yeah, and they haven't lost much ground on this. I think they went from second to third, and that's it, and they're right there.
Yeah, and I don't know when he's coming back, but you're hanging around partly because the Rockets and the Lakers and the other teams are kind of helping a little bit with that, but to stay afloat here, to stay right there, this has been a monumental win without Jokic. I forget if I was on with you or with somebody else, might have been with Camille. When that happened, it was oh no, the Nuggets could fall into the play-in, and
right.
that would just be rough. And they've been able to hang. This has just been a very impressive stretch for them. And you don't want to see a guy go down, but Peyton Watson steps up, and you get other guys kind of showing their value. They've acquitted themselves nicely.
Yeah. What do you think about it on the Pistons side here? We've seen them try to kind of grow as a team, and sometimes you just need to be able to get these ugly wins. And this is one of those where, you almost threw it away. It easily could have gone to overtime here, but they led basically wire to wire other than a brief stretch in the beginning here. And good teams just need to beat teams that are inferior to them, which the Nuggets are with the injuries they have. And so I look at this for the Pistons of I don't know, the lead was getting chipped away going into, the final stretch here, but they found a way to get the win.
Yeah. I mean, I'll push back on found a way to get the win.
But
they survived
nicely. They survived, as we'd said. Yes.
But honestly, this is one of those things where you just look at each other and, you kind of give each other the side eye and be whew, okay, that was a freebie right there. It's you actually need some of these lucky wins from time to time. When you're good, you get some of these lucky wins because you're able to wear the other team down because of your physicality, right? That Detroit had a hand in wearing the Nuggets down. And it's just, you go into the film session the next day and the mood is better. When you're in a better mood, you kind of accept, you look at the stuff that went wrong and you're okay, yes, yes, I have to do that. And you feel better about seeing the stuff you did wrong in film. So it's just such a more positive experience for a young team like that. They're going to need these types of wins if they're going to make a deep playoff run, right? You got to find a way to just kind of stick with it. And so, like also Jamal Murray missed these free throws, but none of them would have won the game. They only would have tied the game.
Yeah, would have sent it to overtime in theory, let's say.
So we can say with, full-throatedly, the Pistons tried to lose this game, but really it would have gone into overtime, and I'm not so sure the Nuggets had the gas to survive in overtime. So even if Jamal Murray had hit those free throws, who knows how the game would have ended, even if it went into a tie. The Pistons, you can easily sit there and be like, Pistons probably would have won this game anyway. So they got a little scared, and we got a little story to talk about with the free throws, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I think both teams are just fine here when it comes to everything. A team that looks a whole lot better right now is the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's talk about Joel Embiid and Paul George. That's coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockdownNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockdownNBA. That's ethos.com/lockdownNBA. Ethos.com/lockdownNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
And thank you for making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We are here 7 days a week covering everything you want to know about the association. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Also, don't forget about the Everydayer Club. The NBA trade deadline is basically here, and we want to give you a free month of our new Everydayer Club to help you get ready. And if you need a group chat to keep up the chaos, join ours. The Everydayer Club gets you access to a group chat on Discord just for your favorite team, plus national chats where you can hang out with fans across the league. You also get ad-free versions of this show, and if you sign up by the trade deadline on February 5th, you can use code DEADLINE to get your first month free. Tap the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, let's keep bouncing around the league here, John. Let's go over to the Philadelphia 76ers beating the Milwaukee Bucks 139-122. Big games from Joel Embiid and Paul George. Let's go over to Locked On Sixers.
Philadelphia 76ers come up with their feel-good win of the season. No, it wasn't their biggest win. It wasn't their best. It certainly wasn't their most clutch, but it was a feel-good win as they beat up on the Milwaukee Bucks 139-122, and certainly feels a lot better than getting destroyed as they did a night earlier by the Charlotte Hornets. But you see the Sixers in this one get Joel Embiid running the floor in that second quarter, and he throws down an alley-oop from Tyrese Maxey, and Maxey's feeling good. He jumps at his big man. The whole bench goes bonkers. It was great. Even during the halftime interview, Tyrese Maxey said he hadn't done that with Joel Embiid in about 4 years, and in the post-game interview, Joel Embiid said, yeah, that sounds about right, as a matter of fact. Embiid finished with 29 points, and Paul George has got to be feeling good. 32 points on 9 of 15 shooting from beyond the arc. And Jared McCain comes up with 17 points off the bench on 5 of 6 from three-point land.
Yeah, Joel Embiid playing like that, that's the type of thing that opens my eyes up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that was great and all. I wouldn't like to see it, but Sixers fans would like to see it a lot more often. I think this is still a flash of what Embiid has been, and not necessarily indicative of what he's going to be still. I don't trust the knee to stay healthy enough for him to be catching alley-oops, all season.
He's got to do it in the playoffs, but his last 5 games now, 33 points, 30 points, 32 points, 38 points, 20, whatever he had in this game. Like, he's looked good. Like,
he's looked good. Yeah.
Truthfully, when you get that kind of performance out of Paul George, that's great. Jared McCain, after such a promising start to like his rookie year last year, then getting injured and coming back now, looks really good too. I think like all of this is, I think, the type of thing that kind of makes the Philadelphia 76ers start to look better.
Yeah, I just don't trust them. I don't trust them.
That's fair. And they got to do it in the playoffs, right?
But the Sixers are the absolute biggest, wildest variance team in the NBA, where if they don't get good Joel Embiid and Paul George, like if the Sixers really want to be serious about competing, just put a cardboard cutout of Doc Rivers on the opposing sideline. So Paul George thinks he's playing against Doc Rivers all the time. And then you'll get a first team all NBA performance from him all season. He just loves beating Doc Rivers. If those guys play well, the Sixers could actually make a case for coming out of the East. If these guys stay healthy and can start playing well consistently, problem is there's just no way in no way do you trust the Sixers to stay healthy and play consistently like this. So that's the problem. They will miss the play-in or lose in the play-in if Embiid and Paul George are missing time. But these guys, what we saw tonight, that could actually be something that could be dangerous in the playoffs.
All right, because Embiid played so well, we got to play a real or fake here.
All right.
Is this real or fake? Just ask John and Jake.
Real or fake, John? So Doc Rivers declared that Joel Embiid is the most talented player he's ever coached. Real or fake? This got to hurt you more than like anybody.
I mean, he coached Kevin Garnett. He currently coaches Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is what everybody went to on Twitter. He also used to coach Kevin Garnett. And I just, look, Embiid is a generational talent, but there was nobody like Kevin Garnett, especially when he first came into the league. A 7-footer. Garnett was 7 feet tall playing the wing. So I'm going to say it's fake. And even though he has Giannis, I'm going to say that Kevin Garnett was the most talented player that Doc Rivers has ever coached.
Yeah, you would say that. So I think there's a decent argument here to be made that it could be Joel Embiid if he were to ever just reach his.
Outrageous. It's not outrageous.
Yeah, it's not outrageous. Like his ceiling maybe is going to be higher than the other two, but he just doesn't reach it because of the injuries, and that's going to hold it back. That's going to make it fake here. All right, let's move on to the Phoenix Suns in a kind of chippy game at the end, beating the Brooklyn Nets 106-102. Let's go over to Locked On Suns.
Suns defeat the Brooklyn Nets 106-102. Benjamin Garcia, Locked On Phoenix Suns. Let's talk about it. So the big thing from this game is I feel a bit vindicated. I've been arguing about Mark Williams and his place in the offense for a while now. Feels like almost 2 months where I've said, this guy got off to a really hot start to start the season, and he was like the Suns' second or third best player for the first month of the season, and then they just completely phased him out of the offense. Not sure if it was Oso Ighodaro's emergence, but the Suns with no Jalen Green and Devin Booker need to have Mark Williams more involved in the offense, especially with no Colin Gillespie tonight either. 13 for 15, dominated down low. Probably could have had a couple of more boards, but that was a collective Suns effort that they need to be better about with these bigger teams like the Nets can play. And the other question that's answered is, good teams find a way to win ugly. Did the Suns do that? Yes. Good teams also find a way to win games without your best players. Well, they were without 3 of their top, 6 best players tonight. No Gillespie, no Booker, no Green. You could throw Isaiah Livers in there as one of their role players that wasn't playing, and the Suns still won. That's what matters. Phoenix is still a very good basketball team. They just got to get healthy.
Yeah, vibes are still high on Phoenix. They are like the all vibes team this season.
Yeah, man. I mean, like Ben's going to be like, he talks about vindicated. Man, he's been talking all kinds of smack, but his team's been backing him up. But yeah, and Dylan Brooks, for all of the antics and for creating another situation where there's a dust up and pushing and shoving and all of that stuff, like he's kind of like what Draymond Green was as far as attitude for his team. Everybody hated what Draymond was doing for the Prime Warriors. Everybody hates what Dylan Brooks is doing for the Phoenix Suns, except the Phoenix Suns, who love him and are happy to have
him.
Yeah, like he is super and I get it. I think Dylan Brooks is dirty from the outside, grabbing people, shoving people. They have a rules change this season on the follow-through foul because Dylan Brooks was taking it to an extreme, just trying to take people's arms off on that high five rule. Like that's specifically a Dylan Brooks rule. That's all like valid, but that team needed fire, attitude, something. Yeah. And he's, for better or for worse, he's giving it to them and they're responding.
Yes, they very much have responded. By the way, on the flip side for the Brooklyn Nets, not very good, but Michael Porter Jr., 36 points. That's cool. Let's go to the team that I cover here, which is the New Orleans Pelicans, losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder 104-95. This was just an ugly game all around. The Pelicans shot 10 for 40 from three. That's 25%. While the Thunder just shot 40.2% from the field overall. One of those ugly, grinded out games that got oddly chippy with Lou Dort fighting Jeremiah Fears at the end of this one. I don't know. When you talk about like good teams winning ugly, the Thunder did it in this game. New Orleans was the healthiest they've been all season long. Just couldn't beat a Thunder team that's very banged up right now, that doesn't have Cason Wallace, Jay Mitchell, or Isaiah Hartenstein. And just, I don't know, Thunder are good. Good teams find a way. Simple as that.
17-14 first quarter.
Yes, it was really ugly, man. I had to watch the whole thing.
Buddy.
And then talk.
Wow.
No.
Oh. How are you still like not like, do you not have like an airplane barf bag next to you after that first quarter?
Pretty much needed it. I'm a pro though. I can get through it.
Yeah, man. You got it. If there was ever proof that you're a pro getting through that first quarter,
literally that game where no one could make anything. It was cold outside. It was ice cold inside with the way these teams were shooting. All right, coming up next, New York Knicks win. Would you also read a tweet, John? We're going to talk about it coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close, because this is Super Bowl 60 and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. So whether you're backing the favorites, the Seahawks, riding with the underdog Patriots, or building one last same game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. So if you're a new customer, you can bet just $5 and you're going to get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online, and they're going to handle everything from W-2s, self-employed forms, everything you got, and work to get you every deduction. You just upload your documents and go about your day, and you're going to get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. So for a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. if TurboTax didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. And thank you for making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We are here 7 days a week covering everything you want to know about this association season here. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Join over, I don't even know how many viewers we've got on YouTube, but it's a lot. Join them on there too. Comment down below. For your second listen, I'm going to say it's the Locked On Kings podcast. We got a new host in there. Jason Ham just doing great stuff on that show. That's always really James Ham, one of the more fun shows we have on the network here. Make Locked On Kings your second listen today. And let's go over to that game. The Kings losing 103-87 to the New York Knicks. Let's go over to Locked On Knicks.
Late in a 103-87 victory over the Sacramento Kings. Couple of fun storylines for this one, including Mikal Bridges bouncing back from a 3 for 16 performance, going 8 for 13 from the field. I love the way Mike Brown made an effort to get Mikal going. He had 9 points in the first 6 minutes of the ball game. Couple nice drives, one really beautiful Euro step coming downhill in the first quarter. Mitchell Robinson continues to just look super duper spry. I mean, one play that stood out, Landry Shamet had a layup that was blocked, and Mitch was just so quick to elevate off his feet, dunk it back home, and then Jalen Brunson off the ball. This has been a theme under Mike Brown, something he emphasized early, something that went away as the Knicks lost 9 of their last 11 games before this 3-game winning streak. Brunson in the first quarter of this game, running off 2 different pin downs, hitting 2 threes. It is just a way to make his life a little bit easier, lower his usage, which again was really escalating during that extended losing streak. The Knicks will look to continue their momentum tomorrow against some old friends in the Toronto Raptors, RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. But until then, I'm Gavin Shaw. Tune into Locked On Knicks for much more.
Mitchell Robinson continues to be pretty key for them off the bench. 13 rebounds off the bench for them. You're muted, John.
I'm muted. 6 offensive rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that's the Mitchell Robinson effect, right? And that's why the Knicks,
what he does
with Mitchell Robinson, are a much different animal than the Knicks without Mitchell Robinson. With him, they can feel it just gives a shooter more confidence, which is nuts, because you're like, hey, it doesn't matter if I miss. So I'm just going to go up and rise up and take these shots, knowing that he's going to go in there. He's going to extend possessions. He's going to give you more chances to score and kind of like in that fourth quarter make a difference in why they were able to pull away, because they had 22 shot attempts in the fourth quarter. They made half of them, and he had a couple of the offensive rebounds. They forced a bunch of turnovers. Like he protects the rim. He gives you more chance. It's the Mitchell Robinson effect for the Knicks is that makes them a championship contender. If he's not there, if he's not healthy, then the flaws, the Karl-Anthony Towns flaws, become so much more pronounced. And that's the problem for the Knicks.
It still feels like they need to make some sort of move at the deadline, right?
What can you do? You've given up all your picks already. You give
that's kind of the problem.
Like
I'm not saying it needs to be big, but it feels like something needs to be done a little bit there.
Like, I don't know. I don't think that there's like, I get what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying there's an obvious move or anything like that.
Well, the obvious move would be to move Karl-Anthony Towns, but that they're not going to make that kind of splash at this point. But that's if I'm gonna do anything, that's the move I'd make. But that, like I said, they're just gonna roll with this. I'd be surprised, or like, yeah, maybe Gershon Yabusele, like that.
Yeah.
That's the move that. But what do you get for Yabu? Like that doesn't move a needle.
No, that's fair. They're probably going to just, you've convinced me, they're probably going to just kind of stay as is. I don't know. I can see them trying for a guy like Jose Alvarado or something like that to kind of put in the backcourt there. Although 2 undersized guards kind of worries me, but it lets Brunson play off ball a little bit. It is, but I feel like he would just do well there. On the flip side for the Kings, DeMar DeRozan, 34 points. That's all I got to say about them.
I did enjoy Russell Westbrook defending Karl-Anthony Towns in the post. That was a fun little clip. He's just like banging and like being Russ and being disruptive. And I think Cat turned it over. So I was like, that was fun.
Okay, there you go. That's a little bright spot for the Kings. Washington Wizards beat the Portland Trailblazers 115-111. Let's go over to Lockdown Blazers.
Finally, definitive proof that the Wizards were right to trade away Denny Avdia. I'm Mike Richmond, host of Locked On Blazers, and of course I'm kidding. But Denny Avdia returns to the lineup after a 2-game absence, and the Blazers stay in the loss column, dropping their 3rd straight to the Washington Wizards. A game where the Wizards just shot incredibly well. The Blazers went just cold enough at crunch time to need desperation moments. Shaedon Sharpe came up short and a potential game-tying mid-range jumper late. The Wizards made free throws and held on. Denny Avdia, who missed the prior 2 games with a back injury, was returning to Washington, where not but a week ago, their GM had said it wasn't a mistake to trade away Denny Avdia, an almost certain Western Conference All-Star. It was billed maybe by some fans, certainly not any podcasters, as a revenge game or a proof game of sorts. And instead, the young Wizards core just shot the lights out. Alex Sarr was really stinking good. Bob Carrington was good. Keyshawn George was really good late when the Wizards needed him. And despite 29 points from Shaedon Sharpe, and a monster 14-point, 20-rebound game from Donovan Clingan, the Blazers just didn't have it in a 3 or 4 minute stretch in crunch time that really decided the game. Check out Locked On Blazers for more.
Yeah, the young Wizards were awesome in this one. 29 points for Alex Sarr, 19 points for Keyshawn George. You had Trey Johnson with 18, and then off the bench, Bub Carrington with 11. This is why people seem to be kind of high on the Wizards' like potential future.
Yeah, look, they're trying to do what the OKC Thunder did, and that's, what Will Dawkins came over to Washington from the OKC system. They're trying to figure out that mix of young players and trying to build up their value, and either they become contributors or they become trade bait, and you get your contributors and you go on from there. And so notice that there's no Trae Young playing for the Wizards. He is taking it slow with the air.
Oh, yes.
But look, a nice positive, a nice positive night for the Wizards, catching the Blazers on a back-to-back. Coming out of Boston, an emotional night for Drew Holiday in Boston, and I think the back-to-back kind of hurt. He was 0 for 6 in the 4th quarter, which is tough, and I think the Blazers just kind of fell apart at the end and just didn't have the legs, even though Avdia was back.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, final game of the night. The Los Angeles Clippers beat the Utah Jazz 115-103 here. Just everyone kind of contributing for the Los Angeles Clippers in this one. Forget the result. The Clippers are good. I've heard they've gone 15-3 and had a stretch like that. It's now, I guess, 16-3, which has led to a lot of talk about eating a tweet, John.
Yeah.
Real or fake? You would actually eat a tweet on your show?
Oh, I would. Sure. I think it's a nice little gimmick. I mean, at this
very
point,
fun story, actually.
It's a great story. At this point, it's been done. And so
no one else can eat tweets anymore.
Right. Like if I came out and said, "Oh, I'll also eat a tweet," like, come on, that'd look pretty lame. But in a vacuum, if there are plenty of things, I can't remember any of them, but when you're in this business of putting opinions out there on a daily basis, I got tweets for days. I could, if tweets, like I could survive on tweets in the zombie apocalypse. If you printed all of the eatable ones out, they'd just be like, hey, I can light fires with them. I could eat them. I could build houses with them. Yeah. There's plenty of tweets worth eating and getting rid of out there.
So come find you if there's a zombie apocalypse, and we will subsist off of tweets.
On my bad tweets for sure.
Look, there's one out there that Knicks fans probably are going to try. If they ever win a title, are going to force me. If they just make the finals, they're going to force me to basically eat, which is not going to be fun.
We should turn this into a product. We should get in bed with the Pringles people or it's like potato chip people and be like, let's go. Sour cream and chive tweets. Let's give me some mesquite barbecue tweets. Let's put them out there. Stamp your tweets on a chip and you can literally eat your tweets.
So like if you were to do like flaming hot, right? Like you've got like flaming hot takes on like a
Yes,
flaming hot chip.
Yes.
Oh,
now
okay.
we're talking, Jake Madison. Let's make some money.
All right, we got to end the show there because John and I need to work the phones and make some calls. So that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Flaming hot tweet chips coming to you soon with the tweets printed on there. I love this idea. We appreciate y'all so much for listening. As always, this is Locked On NBA Game Night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. See y'all next week.